Hey, what's up everyone? JT here. Welcome to Pineapple Money, where I talk about stock, market news, and investing for the long-term portfolio. And holy cow, do you see NEO right here? They jumped up practically a 7%, another green day for NEO, and they finally broke that $40 barrier price tag. And of course, they hit another all-time high. So more news did come out for NEO today, and I'll explain that later in the video. And as I'm recording this, it is November 5th, and the markets are still trading right now. It is around 1:58 Eastern time. And as you can see, NEO has practically jumped up this entire week, all green, and it's really green. That's crazy. 4 straight green days in a row. As we take a look at the 5-day chart, 5-day chart, they're up around 37%, which is insane to see. And the 1 month, they are up around 78%. So this stock is just going like no other. But then again, so is the entire NASDAQ. The entire NASDAQ also has been kind of green this entire week as well. So as you can kind of take a look right here, right now NEO is sitting about a market cap of $54 billion, which actually right now it is about the same, actually a little higher than GM's. Actually, take a look here. So GM is sitting about a market cap of $52 billion. So that's kind of insane to see from this entire run up right now. NEO is now bigger than GM. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to analyze NEO in terms of its technicals. I'm going to go over its news and what I have been seeing about NEO online, and also go over what I personally think of NEO stock right now. But if you do find anything interesting in this video, go ahead and hit that like button down below and subscribe for more content. And also let me know down in the comments if you got into NEO before this massive move or actually got into it when it got hyped up. Alright, so let's start off with NEO's technicals right here. So the first thing I do see with NEO is that they are pretty much becoming parabolic. As you can kind of tell, it's just moving up like no other. And also there seems to be a lot of momentum going into the stock. Especially today, as you see November 5th, there is a lot of volume in the stock right now, a lot of greens and reds, as well as the day before, November 4th. And the last time there was this much volume was also around October 29th timeframe too. So this kind of tells me that right now, a lot of big whales like institutions and maybe big investors are getting involved in this stock. I mean, we can see this huge increase of volume today alone. Also, I did draw some trend lines showing that NEO has been following this channel right here going upwards. Now on the technical side, I do see a few gaps that NEO has jumped up from. There's one small one at 28 mark. There's one small one, another one at the 32 mark, and another one at the 36 mark right here. Now there's a good chance that, in my opinion, NEO will probably fill this back down later in the future. It might not be now, but probably in the future. And for supports, I do see 3 spots right now. There's one support at the 26 mark, one support at the 28 mark, and possibly one support at the 32 mark. But I do believe that if NEO does hit this, it'll probably just butter right through, since this also is a gap that NEO has jumped up from upon. Now, doing also my technical analysis on NEO, I do think NEO is becoming more and more overextended, as you can see right here. And with no support upwards, I'm sure investors and institutions are just pretty much pouring money into stock, and it could be a short squeeze for all we know. But looking at the RSI, if anything, right now NEO is hitting around that 70 RSI, which is, in my opinion, where I typically start to sell my own stock. And honestly, looking at this, it kind of reminds me of Tesla prior to their stock split, because usually for Tesla, once they've overextended and hit their peak, there's usually a massive pullback afterwards. So right now, I do think that there's a potential that NEO could pull back, and whenever it does, it'll probably be kind of big. Now, given the volume for this stock and also just the news cows in general, I do see that NEO is moving up really fast. I mean, right now, NEO is pretty much the hype of the EV trains after Workhorse and Hyliion. On the news side of NEO, there is no direct news about NEO today, but there's a lot of the direction and momentum going into this stock. Now, what do I mean? Well, for one thing, today is November 5th, and right now the elections are still ongoing for Trump and Biden, as you can see right here. And in terms of policy, there was actually an article that posted about their policies for the EV industry. As you can tell, this is from Clean Technica, but it does say that right now for Biden's plans, he does plan to spend $2 trillion on the EV infrastructure, which includes extending the EV tax credit and as well as building a bigger EV charger network across the US nation. And now in terms of Trump's plan, it seems like this article doesn't post anything about this plan at all, because from what I can tell also, I couldn't find anything regarding EV plans for Trump. So right now it does seem like Trump doesn't have a specific plan for the EV community. Now, I would say for Biden's plan in general, it's kind of a win-win for EV companies as well as people who does and decide to buy EVs because, of course, it's a tax credit. And compared to Trump, there isn't really a plan there. Now, I don't think in general this really affects NIO directly, but I believe in some sort of interpretation for investors that if Biden does become president, he may allow a Chinese EV manufacturer, such as NIO, to be sold in the United States. Because as we know right now, let's get real, Trump is and does have more stricter regulations in regards to China and definitely anywhere else outside the United States. So that's kind of my interpretation of what I'm thinking right now. And in terms of other news, let's take a look. Right now, NIO has been given even a higher price target even by Citi analysts. So previously, Citi analysts did give a price target for NIO around $33, and now they have increased it to $46.40. And analyst Chung does believe that right now he does have a positive view for NIO, which includes a strong order of backlogs with his high margins right now. And as of right now, I'm sure right now this price target increase has just been throwing more like fuel on this momentum for NIO. And also lastly, there's also been some rumors about NIO now and planning to expand its company to the European market, including their ES8 models as well as ES6 models. And they do plan to, looks like, build their NIO house in Copenhagen, Denmark. Now, CEO William Lee has mentioned this previously, but it seems like right now a location has been finally chosen. And looks like this is a location in Denmark instead of Norway, which is actually a good sign. And I'm sure right now smart investors are actually buying this rumor. And lastly, I would like a lot of more news outlets have been covering NIO in general. As you can see right here, even Yahoo Finance has been covering NIO as well. And they've also been comparing it to Tesla. So I think in general, there has just been more attention to NIO stock, which has been giving its massive volume, which is, of course, crazy to see how this entire week has been moving NIO like no other. Now, let me give my thoughts on NIO. So in my opinion of NIO, like I previously said, I do think that on the technical side, NIO is becoming more overextended, as you can see right here, and just moving like a parabolic rate, which is insane. I would like to see NIO start to consolidate at a price, so at least as an investor, I know that it can maintain and gain support at that given price target. Other than that, I personally am not buying into the stock right now, and I'm just holding my shares. And while I do want to add more shares into this stock, I do believe NIO for the future. I don't think at its current price and its current movement that it's worth it, especially how it's moving right now and today alone. And right now I am sitting at a share price, share volume around 3 digits, so I'm okay personally, but I do want to add more like I said. Now, fundamentally, NIO hasn't really changed this past week at all. And they're still like pumping out their cars, like I'm pretty sure. The only thing that came out from NIO this week was that they gave us their October delivery numbers, which we got previously, which was a big movement for them. And as NIO does start to produce more cars, I'm sure as December comes around, we'll probably get the numbers from November, which is this month. So in the short term, I do see NIO right now having a pullback eventually. And when it does happen, I won't be surprised if this pullback is big, especially when you compare it to Tesla, as this is like a movement what Tesla would do prior to its stock split. Now, if NIO does continue to move upwards and have this strong momentum, I do think it needs to consolidate to have a price target, especially just show that it has support. And I do expect NIO to continue to run up, especially towards its earnings, which right now NIO is expected to have earnings on November 17th right here, which is I think around 7 p.m. Eastern time, from what I remember correctly. So I do expect some volatility in this market until all the way to earnings date. And I'm sure as earning dates does come around, institutional investors who are buying the stock like right now, this entire week, or even last week, they will probably start to sell the shares, especially a week or the day before. And I'm going off from previous experience, such as other EV companies like Workhorse and Hyliion. So In the long term, I do see NIO growing up even further in the future. Right now, NIO is a great EV stock in my own opinion. And right now, the volatility right now, traders are just trying to get in and out. And this is something that investors for the long term just have to bear with right now. Alright, so this kind of wraps up my video on NIO. If you do find anything interesting in this video, please don't forget to hit the like button down below. And let me know down in the comments if you got into NIO this week or even last week. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.